Hey guys, welcome to Squadron's Wednesday Night Live. I appreciate you being here. It has been a busy week for sure, like always seems to be the case, but nonetheless, here we are, and I'm glad that you have joined us tonight. The last few weeks, we've had all sorts of stuff going on Wednesday nights with the show and tell last week. The week before that, the Nationals recap, and then the 2 weeks prior to that, we were off. So it's been kind of a roller coaster around here on what we're doing. And tonight is going to be one of those nights where we have absolutely no script, no theme, no nothing. Tonight is about you guys over in the chat. And we're going to try to get to everybody in the chat unless you're asking something that we don't want to talk about. And that's usually not the case. You guys are always great to hang out with. And it's just going to be a fun time tonight. So I got Jeff in here with me tonight. But before we get there, I just want to say hello to Danny. It's good to see you tonight. And Chip, hope I can make it all night. Well, unlike last week, we will not go for 3 hours tonight. That's one thing that I know for sure. I don't think I could make it for 3 hours tonight. But it's good to see you, Wayne. Good to see you tonight, buddy. Looking forward to ModelCon Eagle Quest. We are too. It's getting close, and I know that the vendor list and the exhibitor list and all of that has been in the works, and I am pretty sure that the club is planning on showing that off next week. I've seen it. It looks awesome. I'm excited for everybody to see it. I'm excited to see everybody there. We've got an awesome group of vendors and exhibitors, and also a bunch of social media guys, a bunch of all the model organizations. They're coming, like IPMS and AMPS and the Modelers Without Borders. I think they got Wonderfest is coming. The NMRA, the National Model Railroad Association, is coming. The ACME, the NNL Car Club, is coming. The Atlanta Figure Model Society. All sorts of people are jumping in to be a part of this, and it's going to be a great event. We're really looking forward to it. And Wayne, I know that you're on that vendor list. I'm looking forward to seeing all the goodies that you bring along with you. It'll be good to see you there, buddy. Ken, good to see you tonight. Looking for pigments. You and me both. We've got a long list of things to restock from paints. I know that I was talking with Crystal tonight and literally have a big old list. We do things kind of old school around here. Literally lists handwritten of what to make. So she's working on that right now, actually. And then pigments will follow. One of the other things that we finally have prepared, they're not bottled and labeled yet. It'll be another week or two. But we finally got it worked out for our paint stripper. That's one of the things that we announced from ground up, back when we announced everything. And it never happened because we weren't exactly happy with what we had. But the good thing is, while trying to make that, we did come up with some awesome glue that you can now get. The Squadron Plastic Weld 2.0, as we're calling it. But anyway, we've got the paint stripper coming. The pigments, like I said, Ken, they are in the works along with everything else with the grass tufts. Even I wanted to show you this because I thought it was funny if I can find where I stuck them. Here we go. The t-shirts that I keep promising are coming up on the website. Like I said, we do a lot of things old school around here. That's part of the reason we still print a catalog from time to time. We like old school, but anyway, handwritten yet again. I finally have all of the sizes that we have left in stock after Nationals of all the different t-shirts. So that is literally sitting here on my desk to get done. So I'll get those plugged into all sorts of stuff. I'm sure there'll be many more questions tonight about when, and we'll do our best to give you a good answer. It won't be the answer some of you are looking for, probably, because I wish I could say tomorrow for everything, but that just is not going to be in the cards. Frank, good to see you tonight, buddy. Glad you're tuning in from the other side of the world. Always good to see you. Wayne is asking Jeff a question, so why don't I just go ahead and pull in my buddy Jeff? How are you, man?
Doing well. How are you?
Well, bring you on screen, and you got to hit the ground running. Wayne's got a question for you. What do you think?
I already answered him, but I'll answer
Okay.
it for everyone else. Yeah, I actually do have the original 1929 Munsell color data for the U.S. Navy 5 Series colors. Um, yeah, I was one of the original guys that kind of discovered it at the National Archives way back in the day. Stuck in a document. Amazingly, that was sent to the Royal Navy because the U.S. and the Royal Navy were discussing camouflage colors and camouflage measures and what was working and what wasn't working. And lo and behold, there's a memo to the Royal Navy of these are the 1929 Munsell color standards for our 5 series colors. So I will share that with Wayne happily because it's in the public domain. And but if you don't have a 1929 Munsell book of color, it's useless. Um, because none
You
of the if you've got a 47, if you've got a 72, if you've got a 84 Munsell book of color, the 1929 was the one that they used, and then the system actually changed. So a 1929 number doesn't match today's Munsell numbers. So you got to have that 1929 color standard book. But if no, more than likely, I think Wayne's probably got one. So
Oh yeah. If anybody in this room has one, it's him.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
everything else going good?
You ever have one of those days where you could just like close your eyes and fall asleep standing up? That's me today. I'm already 4 Coca-Colas and 2 cups of coffee in, and I figured I'd be bouncing off the walls like a squirrel, but I'm still fighting to stay awake. So,
So you don't want to go 3 hours tonight either, do you?
oh no 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 no! I'd be
Well,
happy with like 45 minutes,
well, we
and
got a
then just
lot.
go
We
to
got a
bed.
lot of guys to talk to tonight. So
Yeah, we
let's
do,
see
we do.
what else we got. EV is here tonight. I just finished laying down some squadron colors. That's excellent. Looking forward to seeing pictures of that, perhaps on the next show and tell.
Let me
Frank,
jump in here real quick. I'm seeing a
yeah,
couple of guys
please,
that are saying that they're having technical difficulties. You
yeah,
might want
jump
to
in.
just try refreshing your browser a little bit. I actually had that happen at the start of the show. I looked over at my screen because I run 2 screens. I run our casting software here, and then I run YouTube over here. And when I looked over there, there's about a 3 or 4 second delay, but they didn't match up. And that one was still in the freeze frame. So I hit the
Ooh,
browser refresh and everything came back up and it's working fine. So
that's
if
no
you're
good.
having technical difficulties, first thing I would suggest doing is refreshing your browser.
Well, I hate that you guys are having problems, but for once, it's not us having problems, Jeff.
Well, yeah, at least not technical problems.
Well, Frank's building a T45 uh, soft plastic. Sorry to hear that. Hey, you'll knock it out though. Looking
Yep.
forward to seeing it when you get done. Let's see. David is with us. How are you, David? David Miller, that is. Got a few different Davids in here usually. Let's see. Derek. Oh, this is one that we've already fixed this problem, Derek, if you hadn't tried again. So Derek was trying to order an Atlantis Lockheed Warning Star. And they are in stock, but they came in stock before we were able to realize they were in stock and take the pre-order status off of it, which was not allowing you to add it to your cart with in-stock items. But that has been updated and fixed. If it's still not working for you, shoot us an email. We'll put the order in for you. Raymond, hello. Mike, hello, buddy. How are you? 2 hands from the villages of the White Sands. Good to see you. Al, good to see you tonight. Bill, just realized it's question night from the comments. Yeah. Try to get to everybody tonight. Harvey,
Yeah, I
how are you, buddy?
tried to jump on earlier there and nip a few of them in the bud
Good
ahead of the
deal.
curve. But
Good deal. Did you already talk? I guess you probably already talked. Yeah, I see it. You already answered 2 hands question about distilled water. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah. You can
good
use
deal.
distilled water. You have to remember that the paint formulation relies on isopropyl alcohol, propanol, and distilled water. One is a carrier, one is a catalyzing agent. So when you take the alcohol out of the mix, you are effectively reducing the catalyzing agent for the paint. The paint will still dry, it'll still catalyze, but it's going to take longer to do it because there's a ratio that goes into it.
In South Georgia redneck, when you mix your water and your alcohol, the more alcohol, the faster it's going to dry. The less alcohol and the more water, the longer it's going to take to dry.
Is that coming from like a, moonshine?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha,
That's how it works.
gotcha.
You know. Um, oh, and yeah, I got to say this too about the paint. So I had a guy come in the store, and I don't know if he's listening tonight. If you are, you know who you are. But he came in the store the other day, and I said, hey, or he said, hey, look, I love your paint colors. and I see all these models everybody's building, because we've got a display case now in the shop that is dedicated for just models built with our paint. And he says, I love it, and I want to join the bandwagon, but uh, I'm having trouble. It won't come out of my airbrush right. And I said, okay, well, what what paint do you use with it? And he said, well, it's been a little while. I use some other stuff. And I said, all right, well, bring your airbrush in, and we'll look at it. We'll break it down, clean it. He says, no, I keep it really clean. I said, I believe you, but I've been down this road a few times, and even myself included, even when you think your airbrush is clean, it's not. If you have ever used your airbrush, it is not clean. Not like it was when it was brand new from the factory. So I told him, look, come up here. Maybe there's something that we can, figure out together. So he came in today, which was a couple of days after our first conversation. And I said, hey, did you bring your airbrush with you? And he started laughing. He says, no, I broke it completely down, and you're right, it had junk all in it. So he cleaned it out, and the paint works beautifully now. So that is not specific to our paint. That, sure, I'm plugging our paint, I always do, but that is a true statement no matter what kind of paint you're using, whether it's Vallejo or AK or Tamiya or good old Model Master. If your airbrush is not working like it used to, it's simply not clean. Now, there's a chance that you've destroyed the needle, bent the needle, or there's a gasket that's been eroded away or whatever. But in basic terms, if you think your airbrush is clean and your paint's not coming out right, it's probably not clean.
Nope.
So just one of those little things happened in the store today. And that'll, a unclean airbrush, a dirty airbrush, it will really, really throw a screwball in your mojo, if you will, because it's just, there's nothing more frustrating than having a itty bitty little piece of paint built up in the tip or the nozzle, and you don't realize it's there until you dig it out. So
now I'll go on record. Before we became Squadron Colors, obviously it was what folks are now saying OG scale colors. In all the years that I did this, 99.5% of the complaints that I had about the paint not working either stemmed back to airbrushes not being clean, or people not reading the recommendations and putting Tamiya thinner in it, or mixing it with moonshine, or mixing it with something other than what it was supposed to be mixed with, and it turns to Jello in the cup.
And that happens with any paint brand too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And they are all specific. They all have their own little idiosyncrasies. But yeah, I've never, there have been a couple of times way back in the day where I got a bad batch of base material, and the paint would coagulate or something like that, and we fixed it and figured out what the problem was and moved on and got it replaced. But for the most part, knock on wood, 99% of all of the issues that we ever had, all the complaints that we ever had, and there weren't many, but they were all usually either end user error or formulation error.
Yeah. Well, it's I'll say one more little story, and then we'll move on so it doesn't become paint hour. But I don't know if you don't play golf, do you, Jeff? I think you've told me your one golf story. So I don't either. I haven't played golf probably in 10 years. I used to love it. But for me, the best I would ever play, and I'm what they call a hack. I was not good. Like, it was my goal to get a par or two during the day. And it hardly ever happened.
You're doing 10 times better than I am.
Anyway, so my best I would ever play, though, is when I had not played in a while, and I had kind of forgot everything you're supposed to do. What's very interesting about our paint is a lot of people, myself included, how I was when I first started using it with you. You get so used to using whatever you're using.
Right.
That you think that's how so I'm using this paint brand. Well, I think every other paint brand should work like this paint brand. And if it doesn't, then something's wrong with it.
Right.
The coolest thing, last week at Show and Tell, we showed off Emmett's, my oldest son, his Porsche 911. Mm-hmm. First time he's ever used an airbrush. He picked out the color that he wanted, which was one of our Squadron colors. And I said, well, you shake it up. You squirt it in there. We hooked him up to one of the new Gallery little bitty mini compressors, the Turbox or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Hooked him up to that. Said, look, you put it in there and you pull it. I gave him a little piece of paper to try it on first, and he did it like that. Yeah, that's right. And then he painted his car. He had never used any other paint before. He didn't know how it was supposed to work. I just told him this is what you do, and he did it.
Yep.
So it was pretty neat. So anyway, we'll move on. Rob, good to see you tonight.
How can you
Ed's
be done
with us.
with summer?
Done with summer.
Yeah, Rob says he's done with summer.
You're not far enough away from Wisconsin. You're gonna have winter. Like, we're gonna be swimming next spring, and you're gonna be having snow on the ground.
Oh yeah. No doubt about that. I mean,
oh gosh. Well, Ed's with us. How are you, Ed? Ross Fire in North Texas. Oh, that's no good.
all right, my volume is maxed out, Preston. So, I can try to be a little louder, but I think we are.
Yeah, we had that last week, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Let me see if I can.
See if you can turn your system settings volume up.
I'm already at 200%.
Oh, well, okay. All right. Well, Ed, sorry to hear you got smoke, buddy. That's no good. Jeff, you had some smoke a couple of weeks ago up in your area, didn't you?
It was horrible. Yeah, we actually considered packing up and heading south to get out of the line of smoke.
Oh gosh. Well,
we were contemplating an Airbnb down in southern Iowa somewhere just to get away from it all.
Well, hopefully it doesn't come to that with you, Ed. Good to see you tonight, though. Let's see, Arnell is here. How are you, buddy? Good to see you tonight. And Patrick, right down the road in Cartersville. Hey, we'll be headed your way in a couple of months down for the Acme Southern NNL car model show there in Cartersville.
If possible, could you move your mic closer to your face? Look at where my mic is, right here. It's stuck to my side of my head. It ain't moving any closer to my face.
You probably could, get some. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Hey, how you doing?
Get some. Get you some gator glue and glue it there, Jeff. All right, let's see. Rex is with us. How are you, buddy? Ed, talking about the 3D cutter, not specifically designed as a sprue cutter. That is 100% correct. If you try to cut plastic sprues with it, it's going to melt the plastic and get stuck right in the middle of it. Our sprue cutter, listen to me, our ultrasonic parts remover is not a cutter at all, in fact. It's got a very nice tip to it. As Ed mentioned here, we suggest sharpening the tip and use the tip to basically stab at small 3D parts. And I mean small stuff. You guys know that we do a little bit of everything, but we do a lot of 3D ship stuff. That's kind of our bread and butter, if you will. That's what this is designed for. Now, as you guys know, there are other things on the market, like this fun guy, for example. But it's a big old thing in your hand. Yeah, it's got an awesome razor knife on it, and it'll cut through a big old piece of 3D part, and you can have one of these for about $150.
Yeah,
it's a very fine tool. If you want one, go buy one, buy two. But that is not what our cutter is. It's not designed to do the same thing as this. We don't claim for it to do the same thing as this. It is a very, very, very small 200, 350, 700 scale, and you can use it for bigger scale if the manufacturer of said 3D part uses small enough structures. But that's what it's for. And for $35, it's a fantastic tool on my desk. Hope you're enjoying yours, Ed.
That big one?
Yeah.
That big one? I actually did an emergency appendectomy on myself about 2 months ago with it. It worked like a champ.
Thanks. Because that's this exact one.
I know. I cleaned it before I sent it back to you.
Oh, gosh. Ed's also asking about the Trumpeter. I Love Kit. I Love Kit and Trumpeter they come out of the same factory. Trumpeter has announced a 200 scale USS Sullivan's. I Love Kit has announced the same thing in 350 scale. Both are still on the table, but they have not given us any release dates. I Love Kit just released the Fletcher in 350 scale. Trumpeter their last one was the Stevens in 200 scale. I'm trying to make sure I remember this correctly. And Sullivan's is yet to come in both scales from both companies, or both brands rather. and we don't have any dates on that. Trumpeter, and I love Kit, they like to kind of tease what's coming, kind of like you and me, Jeff.
Mhm.
They like to tease what's coming, and then you get no information, and then all of a sudden one day, poof, it's ready to go in the container, and then it's here, 2 months later. So um, I don't know I forget the exact timing between the 200 scale Fletcher and the Stevens. I assume that whatever that timing was, 6 months, whatever it was, I assume that the timing between the Stevens and Sullivans will be similar. However, I don't know that for a fact. That's just my guessing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the
and
Sullivans is going to be, the only thing that the Sullivans is going to share with either the Stevens or the Fletcher kit is basically the hull.
yeah,
Everything,
tell
everything
us what's
on.
different, because I've had a couple of people email recently about the differences, and where the fact is Trumpeter has not given us any information about the differences. If they do it correctly, then Jeff can fill us in on how it should be.
So the the Stevens and the Fletcher kits are depictions of the vessels as they were in late 42. They have a round bridge. They have 20 millimeter gun tubs up forward. They have no midship 40 millimeter guns. They have the high bird's nest 40 millimeter position in between turret um, 4 and 5, and or turret 3 and 4 rather. And it's both of the ships are early war configurations. Sullivan's is a square bridge, late war, emergency AA fit configuration. Her funnels are different. Her bridge structure is different. The CIC is different. It's not a rounded, full height bridge structure. It's actually a two-tiered bridge structure. She's got 40 millimeter guns up front in the forward tubs, so that involves rearranging the gun tubs forward of the bridge. Her platforms for her searchlights are going to be different. Forward torpedo tubes are going to be gone, and in its place will be a pedestal with a pair of Mark 51 fire control directors, because they now have quad 40 millimeter positions midships between the funnels. All of the 20 millimeter guns that remain on the ship are going to go from singles to twins. The depth charge racks are going to be different. The K racks are going to be different. The funnels are going to be different. The 40 millimeter position between turret 3 and 4 is going to be either the Federal or the Mare Island, which is two different, one's horseshoe shaped and the other is a teardrop shape. Those are low cut. Um, there's just it's essentially an entirely new ship from the deck up. So that being said, there's not a lot that Trumpeter or iHeart can use from either their 350th or their 200 scale kit that they can just immediately adapt, keep on the same sprue. And in looking at the sprue design of both of the existing kits, there's no indications on any of the existing sprues in those kits that there's any late war parts that are fit. So it's
That
going to be all new sprues from the deck up.
that could certainly, in that being the case, it's probably a good thing that it's not been released yet, because that could mean that they're doing the work to make the correct changes. So we'll see. Time will tell, and time will also tell on your next question, Ed, on our Johnston conversion. I guess the new thing we're going to have to say, Jeff, is we're kind of like Trumpeter. We tell you what we're going to do, and then silence for a while. So no,
Well,
it's going to get there. When we talked
no.
about that, we did not have any idea that our 3D production that we coined 3D Land was going to take a nosedive off into the deep end and have a few months off. But the good thing is, literally just yesterday, we have like 90% of the machines back online printing things.
Good.
So,
Good.
yeah, nothing in particular, just printing a little of this, a little of that, just to test the waters, make sure the new 3D staff knows what they're doing. So, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
We're actually going somewhere now. So,
And in that same vein, there's a clause in our old contracts from back in the day that says, subject to the requirements of the service. And that is a lot of what we deal with here. And folks have to remember that Brandon and I are each just one guy. And we get onto a project and then suddenly something else comes up that's 99% of the time it's behind the scenes stuff, that's business stuff, it's company stuff. And developing something or working on a project gets put to the side while we deal with something else. And it could be anything from, we got to fix this printer, to where's the shipping container, to, oh, the truck is coming a day late, to we got to pack for a show, we got to prep for a show, we got to do this show. So there's always something that kind of gets in the way. And I'm trying not to make excuses here, but there's one each of us, and we all have, and Brandon will agree, we've got way too many rabbit holes that we have created for ourselves. But we're making progress on a lot of great stuff, and like you said, all of a sudden, boom, there it is, and it's on the
Yeah.
website.
Well, and that's how it's going to be from now on. We've kind of mentioned that we're not going to tell you guys what we're cooking up anymore because we feel bad that we get excited, we tell you, and then it takes months and months and months. So the things that you currently know about are all you're going to know about until they're ready. And then we have other things cooking that all of a sudden, poof, it's going to show up one day and be ready to sell. So
There it is. Yep.
it'll be cool. So I'm popping up just a few of you guys on the screen. So hey to you that I just popped up. Jason a second ago, Rich Dan showing now, Rob Danielson right up the road. Good to see you. Skip, good to see you, buddy. And yes, like Skip always reminds us, Skip, thank you so much. Everybody hit that like button. It helps us on YouTube. It helps us to maybe get in front of some other modelers that might like to add to the stash. So
Yep.
let's see. David Miller, question to the add-ons to the Roman Squadron paints, World War I paints, World War II German. Are these replacing old ones or added to?
We will can't say never, but the odds are in your favor that we will probably never replace a color unless for some fantastical reason new research comes up to indicate that that historic color is actually incorrect. And I'm always open to that. So if anyone out there is sitting on some historical paint chip that has provenance and you can verify it, by all means let us know. But no, these new colors were add-on colors, and in the case of RLM 81 and 82, we had mentioned this before. There was one original set of data that came out and was kind of mainstream all through the 70s and the 80s and into the 90s, that these colors were these specific shades. And then within the last decade or so, there has been some new research that's been uncovered in Bundesarchiv in Germany and through some aviation archaeological research that indicates that maybe these colors that we thought were right were actually wrong. So they created these interpretations, which are now different colors, and when you compare them, they're obviously different. Rather than picking one side or the other, we just created both sets. So you have RLM 81 and 82 Legacy, which were the old color standards, the ones that you'll find in the monogram color book, and then we have 81 and 82 with the new research standards. So those are add-ons. They're there, and I don't know that we're ever going to really ever discontinue a color. I mean, all of the colors are moving well across all of the genres.
Yeah, there's not really any reason to discontinue them because, like you said, Jeff, even if new research comes up, there, take your Dunkelgelb, for example.
Yeah.
The original real formula for Dunkelgelb versus Dunkelgelb revised, which is what some modelers prefer. Two totally different colors. Take your pick. So if all of a sudden Mountbatten Pink was to come up and Ron Smith said, "Man, found a new color chip and we were wrong. Here's what it's supposed to be." We'll just add the new version and we'll keep original. We'll have OG Mountbatten Pink and Mountbatten Pink revised. So
there you go. I knew you were going to go to Mountbatten Pink.
Hey, that the of all the colors we have, that's probably the one that we're not going to find new data on one day.
And yes, Dave, as long as those dinosaur colors are correct, that's all that matters.
There you go. Well, let's see who else we've got in here tonight.
We have the Mesozoic Book of Color for dinosaurs.
There you go.
Or Jurassic
Jeff,
Park
you going to
colors.
do any 3D weapons for the ducks and penguins?
I got something in the works. I'm not going to say anything, but I got
There you
something going.
go.
And
There you go.
when the time comes, you'll know, and it's going to be a
All
hoot.
right. So here's a kind of a sad one that we'll pull up a second. Rob he was asking about any truth to the Dolly nose art that they're talking about, but in truth, it was a sad thing seeing Dolly
Yeah.
Parton pass yesterday. So, but hey, I'd be all over some Dolly Parton nose art if that does end up becoming a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody put
Absolutely.
it, and I don't remember who it was, but somebody put it quite eloquently, and they said that it didn't matter where you were on any issue, political, social, religious, and all of the stuff that makes us pull our hair out. She was one of those people that everybody universally loved.
Right.
And it didn't matter, what side of the political aisle you were on or any of that stuff. Everybody loved Dolly, and they said that in a time when the world needs more people like her, losing her is a loss for everyone.
Oh yeah.
And I
And
got to
I guess
agree.
you saw Tim Curry died too.
Tim Curry passed
Yeah.
away as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, the Dolly was married right here in Ringgold.
Yeah.
And so they've got a big mural over on the downtown in the square, a big mural on the side of one of the buildings. And I hadn't been down there, but supposedly they got hundreds, if not thousands, of flowers and all that stuff. They were having a thing
Yep.
for her down there. So
Yep.
sad indeed.
Well, it
Well,
catches all of us eventually, but
that is true. But you know what they say about us, Jeff? You can't
our
go anywhere
legacy
till you.
will,
No, you
until you
can't go
don't.
anywhere till you build all your stash.
Oh, well, then I'm immortal. I'm going to live forever.
Oh, if it were only true.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
All right, let's see. What else do we have tonight? Let me get back to the chat here. Oh, this isn't fair. He's working on the Dora. Last week we pulled up his picture. Well, yeah, if the fact that he's working on it, he's going to finish it before me. So I'm looking forward to it. What?
Let's just throw this out there. Realistically, there is a way that you could have Dora done in like 2 days.
Oh, I could have it done right now if I wanted to. I'd just say, okay, it's done. That's it.
I was never mind.
So, all right,
you kind of missed the joke there, but
no, I get you here, but I have to give this is a sales pitch, but it's not just a sales pitch trying to sell you guys a Dora. But I do have some possible unfortunate news. I don't know if Soar Art is still in business. We've been trying to get in touch with them, first of all, to buy some more Doras, and second of all, because I've got a customer that's requesting a replacement sprue. We've not been able to get in touch with them. Their website is gone.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so we have, I think, one left. We might have two, but the website says we have one. For some reason, I think there's two in the warehouse. Maybe it's spoken for. I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, there you go. There is my plug for if you were on the fence about having a Dora. I'm not going to say Dora the Exploder. Oh gosh, I'm not going to say we're never going to get them again, because if Soar Art all of a sudden gets back with us and says, yeah, we'll have them. Us, we're going to keep Doras in stock as long as we can. But at the moment, we have not been able to get in touch with them, and their website is gone. That's all I'm going to say about that. So,
okay,
yeah, it's unfortunate because I love that kit. All right. Lance and Jim, hey to you guys. Gary, right here in town, good to see you. And Byron, good to see you tonight. Jeff, who's that guy? I don't know. Frank, after the success of your B-17, which B-17 you think he's talking about? Well, okay, I bet you're talking about the Bloody 100th from Edward. Yeah. That's not our B-17, but it was certainly a good seller for us. And the B-24. What about a B-29? Frank, I'll just say that I would love that. 48 scale B29 would be awesome. I assume you're talking about 48 scale because Jeff would probably want a 32 scale, but I don't
Wherever
know.
you put it.
I would love so B17, B24, B25. Um, Great, we've got them. Good kits. B29. Oh, it would be awesome to have that. And as weird as it sounds, and I know we'll never see this, I'd love to see a Dominator. But I mean,
Yeah.
as expensive as
Or a
tooling is
privateer.
these days, yeah, yes, a privateer would
Even
be
a
good.
privateer in 48 scale would be awesome.
I don't know. I could see that actually happening because, yeah, it's big, but B24 is big, and they've done it. I'm not saying it's never going to happen. Crazier things like Doras do exist, but as expensive as tooling is these days, it's going to take one of the companies
Yeah.
some serious, trust in the market
Yeah.
to pull that off. But we've seen. Trumpeter with the B24, the B17, Edward, of course, that comes from HK models. I mean, so there's a couple of companies out there that have done big bombers and they've done them well. It exists. I mean, it's been done before. Monogram did it years and years ago, but that was a different time back
That was
then.
at the heyday of the hobby
Yeah.
when they could sell 10,000, 20,000
Hmm.
kits, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
I
I'd
don't
love
know.
to see it done. I'd love to, man, even a B36. That's maybe pushing it though.
Let's B-52.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
surprised. I'm surprised even to this day that we've never seen like a B-47 Stratojet in 48 scale because it's not a large airplane in the grand scheme of things.
I thought there was one of those.
No, no, only
Like
in
a
vacuum form. But Hasegawa did one years and years ago in 72nd scale.
For some reason, I was thinking Italeri did it, but maybe it was 72
Mm,
scale, and maybe I'm thinking of that Hasegawa one.
yeah,
Yeah. Now, you would think that, and I say this a lot of times with car models, especially, you would think as long as kits have been being made and as big as the market has gotten in the grand scheme of time, that every single thing would have been done by now and done well, and it's just not. That's just not the case. I mean, yeah, a new B29 would be great, but like you just said, Jeff, I just hadn't even thought about it. B47 has never been done.
never been done. Yeah,
So,
there's a few
you
of them that
know,
are out there.
the this Hudson, this ICM Lockheed
Yeah.
Hudson, has that ever been done in 48 scale before? Because I don't
Mm,
think it has.
not to my knowledge, no.
Yeah, I didn't think so. That and their Hamden that they just did, I don't
Yeah.
think that had ever been done, or at least not in a very long time.
But I think you're getting into that realm, and we just had this discussion at our local club meeting last night. Um, there are these larger companies, and even the smaller companies that live from release to release. If they have a bad release, if they have something that bombs, that really puts the hurt on whatever their next project is.
Right.
And there is a safe zone, and everyone knows what that safe zone is. That's P-51s and B-17s and Tiger tanks and Ford Mustangs and the usual stuff.
Or in not just subject matter specific, relatively small vehicles,
Right.
regardless of what they are, things that can be tooled up relatively
Uh,
inexpensively and sold for 30-ish
Right.
bucks, you know.
Right. So when you start looking at some of these bigger subjects, you really have to ask yourself from a financial business side, if I'm going to invest $150,000 to tool this thing, am I going to sell $150,000 worth of kits just to break even? And then how
Right.
many am I going to sell beyond that in order to actually fund whatever the next project's going to be? And I think a lot of companies in this economy, this day and age, and knowing that the market is shrinking in the sense that there we're buying just as much, but there's just not as many of us as there were in the 70s and 80s.
Right.
That it's a risk proposition, and what's the ROI?
Uh-oh.
You know,
You
eh,
disappeared there for a second, Jeff. Are you there?
oh, Did I? Yeah, I'm still
Yeah,
here.
you're back. You're back for me. Hopefully, maybe it was just
Okay.
on my end, but no,
Yeah.
you're absolutely
Um,
right, and that is also, Jeff, why. Let's just say, for example, let's say a B-29 does come out. It's not going to be $100.
no,
It's probably not going to be $200.
no.
It might be north of $300. I don't know. I mean, it's the good
Yeah.
old supply and demand
Yeah.
kind of thing.
And
So
how much does each individual, and that's entirely contingent upon the individual modeler. I mean, there are guys in the chat who, don't care. I'll drop $1,000 on a model kit. And then there's other guys who are like, hey, I'm not paying more than $30 for it.
right.
So, you know,
Hey,
so
we'll see.
that's,
I'll say this, Frank. If a B-29 comes out, we're going to do the best we can to jump on it and do a build group. It'll be awesome.
there you go.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Where would, let's see, it would have to be,
Well,
would have to,
it depends on when it came out. So let's say that it came out next year,
we
and
would literally need like 80 tables just to do
Shreveport would hate us.
Oh, they wouldn't even want it.
It would be like Huntsville. It would be a love-hate thing.
Yeah.
They would hate the fact that they have to figure out where to put it, but they would love the idea of having that many bombers on the table. So
yeah,
I don't know. It'll be cool, Frank. If it ever happens, I would love it. But we're just going to have to see. I'll say this, then we'll move on. The only company that doesn't really seem to have a problem spending money on big stuff, and a lot of it, is Trumpeter. Yeah. They are cranking out the 16 scale tanks. They've got that 35th scale Gigant coming out. That's going to be massive.
Yeah.
So, who knows? We'll see.
I actually started on a 32nd scale B-29.
The resin kit?
No.
Or vacuform, or what is it?
It was a vacuform kit.
Okay.
So I get the vacuform parts in the mail, and they're marginal at best. So I decide, okay, I'm going to put this thing together and see where I get. And then I realized that it was just too flimsy because the model was so big. So I went to the hardware store and I bought a piece of PVC sewer pipe. And I put the vacuform parts over the top of the sewer pipe, glued it all in, and it worked. And
there you go.
And then that's as far as I got. It's sitting over there in a box somewhere, I guess.
Nice.
But yeah, yeah. If we're gonna do a B-29 though, I gotta have it in 32nd scale. Go big or go home.
Better go to get you a new sewer pipe.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, Two Hands wants to know about new Fine Molds kits. I unfortunately have no idea. Fine Molds is an excellent company, but they are like many of the Japanese companies. Their production schedules are a bit different than others.
Yeah. And they don't talk about it.
Yeah, they don't
here.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't.
I know that we have a shipment. We like to say cooking with them, but I don't think it's even on the water yet. And honestly, I have no idea what's going on it. I never really know until the container gets full, and then they're like, "Hey, here's what you're getting." So when I know, you guys will know. That's all I know for now. What are you smiling at, Jeff? You see a chat I'm going to get to in a minute?
Nah, I'm just
having Coke. Wait a minute. Why are you having Coke? Where's your Mountain Dew?
I gave it up. Yeah.
I like
something
Coke.
a little lower octane rating.
That's why you're about to fall asleep.
Yeah, it is. Because 2 Mountain Dews would keep me wired until 3 a.m. and I got to go through 6 of these. So I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, wow. Check this out. Pilot Dave. He is in California, and he's actually flying a 1-to-1 scale CH-54. That's cool. You'll have to send us some pictures of of yours sometime, or the one that you fly.
Maybe we'll get him on the show to talk about
absolutely. Come on the show sometime. Tell us how it is flying one of those big old things. And wow, and I hope that y'all get that fire under control.
Yeah. And our thoughts are with anybody who's dealing with the fallout from that.
Yeah, that's terrible. But I hope you guys you got those helicopters are very awesome. So
yeah, hit us up, Dave. Definitely. We'll have you on the show and talk about flying. Well, you don't actually fly a helicopter. It's just a big collection of parts all vibrating at the same frequency. But Um, yeah,
Oh gosh. Well, he says he's flying one, so we'll go with that. Good to
yeah.
see you tonight, Dave. Stay
It's
safe
a
out there.
it's a rotorhead joke. It's a
Oh
rotorhead
yeah.
joke.
Oh yeah. Um, Rob says, should you be texting while flying? Oh goodness. All right, John Lydell. He's up in your neck of the woods,
Yeah,
Jeff.
yeah. He's right
Good
next
to see you
door.
tonight.
He's one of my club guys
There you go. Theron is here. Good to see you.
in Colorado.
Ed talking about the Canadian 215. Yeah. Fires are no good. I hope you'll get all that under control soon. I hate hearing about it.
Yeah.
Wow, Jim's done 50 years in fire service. Dang. All right, well, Fred, good to see you tonight. Two Hands says, where's Frank? He probably didn't get the memo that it was party time. So maybe he'll watch later. So if you do, howdy, Frank. Sorry we missed you tonight. Let's see, Rob, John, everybody's looking for Frank.
Yeah, and then
So,
Frank shows up, or another Frank shows up, and they kind of boot him off the stage. I felt bad for him.
hey, all Franks are welcome.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm scrolling down looking for the next. Oh, Jason, I apologize. This is on me. The UV flashlights. I was supposed to get those up on the website last week. Where did I put my pen? Actually, Jeff, shoot me a message on our message app and say, "Hey, add the flashlight," so I'll see it when we get done. Sorry about that, Jason. That we've got them.
Hey, Brandon.
Hey, Jeff.
Cue the soundtrack from Jaws. Dun dun
Dude.
dun 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 dun.
Oh, okay. Yes, that is also going on the website. So we counted them. That is okay. So I had to tell you that we only had one Dora left. We counted how many books we have left after Nationals. We sold most of them. We sold more of them than I thought we did. We only have 30 copies left.
Okay.
Of Jeff's book. So if you want one of Jeff's books, make sure to check the website. It is supposed to go on tomorrow. It was on the same list as those T-shirts that I was just showing you. So, but yeah, 30 of those is all we've got left. So make sure to grab one of those.
I think a few of them are signed too. So
yeah, and it's hit or miss. That there is one of them that was signed that is on permanent display in the case with all of the models from the book. So, let's see. Dave. Good to see you, Dave.
State 48.
Yeah. Man, I'm still golly, we gotta hurry up. These are all the messages from an hour ago.
Yeah,
we're all right. Hey, there's Frank. Party time. There we go.
Okay. Well.
All right, well, we're just gonna scroll through and look for the next
zone.
question.
We'll just blame it on the time zone.
There you go. All right. Good evening. I have a question. I click paints. All I see is individual paints. All right. So to see all of the paint list, let me show you how to do it. Go to www.squadron.com.
He wants the sets.
Oh, there are very few sets at the moment, but the easiest way to find the sets is type in SCS and hit enter, and you'll see the sets that we currently have compiled. We will be compiling more sets as time permits. Theoretically, every single one of our over 500 colors will end up making its way into a set at some point. Some of it'll be very specific, like here's measure 12, here's measure 21. Here's a set specific for the Gerald R. Ford, which if you guys know anything about aircraft carriers, you can imagine that set is identical to the USN Modern Aircraft Carrier set. But some people that are getting into the hobby might not know that. All they know is that their son serves on the Gerald R. Ford and they want a paint set for the Gerald R. Ford. So there's going to be a lot of duplicated paint sets like that you'll see coming up. But that's how to find them for now. Just type in SCS in search and you'll see the paint sets that we currently have. And where I was going with what thought you were asking is to see the paint list on the home page on the left side, Squadron Colors. Click that and you can see our full list. This does not yet include the new World War I colors and the handful of other colors that we added at Nationals, but we'll update that sometime down the road. Let's see. Frank asks, how did we decide to join forces? It kind of just worked out. So I've known Jeff a long time, being both of us business wise for us. We've always been kind of known as the ship guys a little bit, all the way back to the Trident Hobbies and Pacific Hobbies days. And of course, you guys know Jeff's background in modeling is primarily ship model related. And so we've known each other for a long time, but our paths never really crossed other than just seeing each other at shows and whatnot. Yep. We had been talking about here at Squadron, we'd been talking about bringing all of our 3D design stuff. We had done 3D stuff all the way back to as early as like 2007 or 8 with Yankee Model Works being some of the earliest 3D printed ship hulls that were turned into blah, blah, blah. And then we did our very own resin model that was 3D printed, which was the Fort Drum, was our very first 3D print ever. So we've done that stuff through the years. Well, we started talking about bringing all of our design work in-house because a lot of our designers were retiring or starting their own businesses and doing their own thing. And we said, we just need to do it all in-house, and we're going to need a guy to kind of head that up. And I needed a guy that was, wanted to be a team player, so to speak, didn't want to go out and do his own thing, which is fine. You do your own thing. That's great. Dad asked me one day, he says, do you have somebody in mind? I said, well, there's only one guy that I know of that could do it. And I says, Jeff Hearn. So at that moment, to be honest, the paint was not even on our radar.
Nope.
So I called up Jeff one day and I said, and this was after the Madison show. I knew he had his hands full with that. So he didn't even know.
I was still in burnout mode from Nationals. Yeah.
So when we were not in any hurry, but we just waited. It was, I don't remember when it was, but sometime after the Nationals, I called him and said, hey, I know that you know how to do this. We need a guy. Would you consider coming to work with us? And Jeff basically said, that'll be cool, but what about all my proprietary stuff? I've got some 3D designs and I've got this paint line. And I said, well, yeah.
He goes, paint line? What?
Yeah. Huh? What are you talking about? And he said, scale colors. I said, oh, yeah. And I said, wait a minute. I know that because he had come over and dropped a bunch of paint off with me at Texas. And I said, yes, I know the paint and heard about it. And but I mean, I'd never really used much of it because at the time we were rolling and going with Vallejo and Tamiya. But the funny thing about it, as soon as he mentioned it, we had actually been talking with some companies about white labeling a paint line for ourselves specific to ship colors. So when Jeff said that, I said, wait a minute. So how about we just buy everything from you and then hire you to come on board? And he says, great, that'll work.
All right.
So I said, good. This kills like 3 birds with one stone. We got a guy. We got some 3D designs from the get-go. And even though we had given up on the whole idea, we have our own paint line now. And we didn't realize at the moment that the paint was going to outshine the 3D stuff by like a mile. But that pretty much happened overnight because it was like Jeff has said many times before, it was him and his dog in the garage. Yep. And you can only get in front of so many eyeballs that way. So we took what we believed was a great product. We put it in a new package and put a bow on top, and we were showing it to significantly more eyeballs now. And so that kind of took off. And 3D, as we keep saying, it's catching up. It's going to get there. But that's kind of how we joined forces, as you would say. It was kind of an accident. What we thought we were getting ended up being something totally different. And I think on the other side of that coin, Jeff could probably say the same thing. What he thought he was getting into turned into be, something totally different, but it's worked out great. And I don't know, there is a story behind every one of the guys on our team.
Yep.
And everybody's story is different. So,
and I think for me, and you and I have had this conversation, so it's not there's nothing super secret or anything proprietary about it. But as you mentioned, I was one guy, and I was producing 40 different sets of tracks. I was producing 150 paint colors, and I was doing everything. If you have an OG bottle of scale colors, I bottled it. I've had my hands on that bottle. I filled it, I mixed it, I labeled it, I put the BBs in the bottle, I put the cap on the bottle, and I shipped it. So at the end of the day, there is just so much that one person can physically do. And I was faced with a decision of where do I take it from here? Because people were yelling for more and more stuff and more colors, and I just it was affecting my health. I was working ridiculous hours. Um, and I said, okay, it's time to take the business. And this was going on in my head before Brandon's call. Nationals is over. I've eliminated that stress. It's time to take this to the next level. And that was, do I get a commercial space and move out of my shop? Do I hire people? Do I get, automating equipment for bottling and all of that stuff? Do I take a mortgage out on my house and take this to the next level? And I was still throwing that idea around in my head when Brandon called me that afternoon, and we started talking, and I knew right away that that was an option that I had never really ever considered. They had the infrastructure and the manpower to take everything to the next level, and yeah, and that's where we are, and that's where we're headed, and
There you
yeah,
go.
crazy, crazy.
Um, well, let's see. I'm gonna try to move forward a little quickly so we can try to get to everybody because um, I am dead set on not going 3 hours tonight.
No, we can't. I'll
I'm going
I'll
about
be
two
asleep
hours
in
and
45.
58 minutes.
I will be asleep in 45 minutes. I promise you that.
Uh, Jeff Kraus says, how do we get in touch with Jeff? Yes, you can send an email to info@squadron.com and Jeff will answer whatever question you've got. Lance Burrell says he needs a large bottle of thinner any timeline. Yes, right now. You can order it on the website. It was just added to inventory. We got about, I don't know, a couple dozen of them there. So you can get that. Dave Enders says, hey, yeah, all these technical difficulties you guys were having earlier, but it looks like you all are back to good. Let's see. Scroll down through a Munzel PDF somewhere. Search for it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard to see colors through a
Yep.
computer screen though. Which,
Yep.
while we're searching for the next rabbit to chase, that's one thing to keep in mind about our colors. The paint chips that you see on our website, or even on the physical bottle themselves, what's printed, those RGB codes, they do that is just a ballpark reference. If it's supposed to be a red color, then it's going to have some semblance of a red on the RGB code. But an RGB code through a monitor or through a inkjet printer is not going to give you the same color as the actual paint is. Hey, look at that book. That's cool.
This is I should know this. This is serial number 362. However, this is an original 1929. Come on. And as such, you have to be gentle with it because it is
While you're looking, I'm going to
almost
answer a couple
100 years
things.
old.
Yeah, Jose's asking for the Nebelwerfer from Tamiya. Oh, yeah. They have been informed that we all want one.
So
There you go.
there you go. There is these are the original, and these are not printed. These are actual paint samples that are on printed sheets. So yeah, this
Hey,
book was
Jim,
around prior to the start of World War II, and this was
almost
this
a
was
100-year-old book.
the book that all of the major navies used to discern their camouflage colors.
Let's see, Jim says he's tried the World War I colors. Good deal.
Yeah, we had a lot of positive feedback. It was amazing. When we were at the IPMS Nationals, the World War I guys, boy, they came right out of the woodwork. They were all kind of chomping at the bit. And at one point, we had about 6 or 7 guys who were all experts in the field. They're all highly
Oh yeah.
respected World War One models, and they're all passing bottles around and looking at samples, and everyone was
Well,
ecstatic.
they're
Nobody,
really cool colors, even if you don't build World War One stuff. It's
yeah.
some really cool colors. Like if you're a sci-fi or a monster builder, some awesome colors in there for
There's
that.
some excellent. There's a lot of colors in there that could be used for Gunpla for Gundams, sci-fi stuff, Machine and Krieger stuff. It's really some very unique colors, and they
Oh
were,
yeah.
they were a challenge. They're not your standard olive drab by any stretch.
Nope. Well, David's asking about round two's tie bombers and tie interceptors and land speeders, and all I can say is round two likes to have delays. Well, they probably don't like it, but they have delays quite often. At the moment, we are being told that the tie bomber will be here in September, but it was supposed to be July, then it was August, and now September. So hopefully they won't change up again. We'll see. I think that the land speeder is going to end up being after the tie bomber, and the new 32 scale tie interceptor is going to be after both of them. Unfortunately. So Edmund Fitzgerald, that one, like we were talking about our stuff earlier, that is in the works. One of the things we are waiting on now is photo etch. So there'll be more information on that soon. 350th scale Kid from Border Models, the modern Kid, not the World War II Fletcher, is that is in the works. I think they are supposed to be here by the end of the year, but that depends on Borders timing, whether they catch our last container for the end of the year or not. More information on that to come. Let's see. Sorry to be a broken record. Hey, me too, buddy. But wondering about the Planes, Names, and Dames book. They are done. We are in the proofreading process now, and trying to make sure there's no problems. There were a couple of things that Peter was informed of that he needed to change on some of the renders. Very minor stuff that honestly none of us would probably have ever known, but that's how picky he is, and that's why I'm so excited for you guys to see his photographs. And the pint glasses, we are working on another round of those. It's in line with everything else, but we've got a lot of people asking for one of those pint glasses, so we do have another order in queue. I'm just waiting on the manufacturer to get those done for us. The Squadron carrying the Gallery Mini. If you're referring to the mini compressor, yes, it is called a Turbox. And let me show you how you find that on the website. Type in Turbox, spelled Turbox, and there she blows. So, and she works very, very well. So try that out.
My my big old my big old Iwata Studio series is
Not getting much love anymore.
not getting much love anymore. No.
Oh goodness. Let's see. I'm scrolling down through here, guys. I really wanted to be able to get to everybody, but unless we really do go 3 hours, it may not be in the cards tonight. So if I skip you, I promise it was not intentional. Some of you guys are having conversations back and forth with yourselves, so I'm trying to skip through that. So if I miss one, I do apologize. I got to finish before Jeff falls asleep.
Oh, mon dieu. Yeah, it was a
Um,
late night last night. Well, it was an early morning this morning. I went to bed about 4 a.m.
there you go.
and
That
rolled
sounds
back out
fun.
about 9 o'clock and came right back down and jumped right back into it. So
The Theron is asking about the website. I can't tell you for sure why it's not working on your tablet, but if you have the old Squadron app installed on your tablet, that's probably why it's not working. Because the
yep.
tablet, if it's installed, there was a code to make the website automatically try to open the app. We discontinued that app, believe it or not, January of 2024. It's been over 2 years now. So that app. You just need to uninstall that app. It just didn't work out for us like we thought it was going to. And maybe again in the future, but right now just delete that app, and hopefully that'll fix the mobile website on your tablet and make it start working.
in worst case, just give us a call.
Yeah, drop us an email, give us a call. Um, absolutely. Crispy Rice was asking about 40 millimeter singles. We do have them. I thought they were already listed, but maybe they're not. They if they're not listed now, they're in one of the future batches because
Yep.
there's a bunch of them laying around at the shop. I know that.
I've got the design work is done. We've done prototypes. I
Oh
don't think
no,
we've
we've
finalized.
got them printed. There's a couple hundred of them sitting back. Yeah, there's a
40
lot of stuff sitting back there. Yeah,
40 millimeter singles.
singles. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Let's touch base in the morning to make sure I'm not losing my mind. I might be
Well,
thinking about a
between the
different
two of
gun.
us, we probably are both losing
Yeah,
our minds, and two negatives
probably
make a
so.
positive. So, you know.
Dana's asking about Edwards Catalina. So this, earlier I was letting you guys kind of know that we have one door left and they might be out of business. You guys got to remember that Jeff and I, we are also what we like to call model clubbers, and we have a stash. That's actually why I have this curtain right here, because behind this curtain, I'm trying to organize my stash and try to get it out of here and make this room look nicer. And we miss out on things that we want just like you guys do.
Yep.
So, sometimes I tell you things like, hey, we're down to one door left and they're out of business. Yeah, it's a sales pitch, but at the same point in time, I don't want you guys to miss out. There's my favorite word these days is FOMO, fear of missing out. Somebody told me that a while back, and it's just great. I use it on myself all the time. What some of these companies are doing now, especially Edward, when they say limited edition, they mean it.
Yep.
Now, is Edward going to do another production run of the Catalina? I honestly have no idea. It would not surprise me if they did. When they did the Bloody 100th, that one sold out immediately. It was sold out before it was even released. And they followed up really quick with a second production run, which also sold out. On the second time around, we bought a ton of them so we wouldn't run out. In fact, we might have one or two left, but I think we sold the last ones at Nationals. The Catalina sold out before it was even released. We sold all of ours before we even got them. So there are literally a few hundred people on our waiting list that didn't get one. And the way our waiting list works is as soon as it comes in stock, it sends them an email saying, hey, it's in stock now, you can buy it. Those guys on the waiting list, you might never get that email because I honestly don't know if Edward's going to make another batch. If they do, we will get them. But what I tell people these days is some companies, they make stuff till the cows come home. But a lot of these companies these days, Tacom, for example, is a big one that gets a lot of people. They do a production run and they'll ask the distributors around the world, this is what we're doing. How many do you want? And just to pick a number out of thin air, if 10 distributors say, we'll take 200 apiece, and that's all they get, they're making 2,000 and that's it. They're not making any extras. And a lot of X Plus, for example, they make what they get orders for. Why? Because they aren't doing it themselves. They have a factory that makes those for them. There is no warehouse space. The warehouse is MMD in Ringgold, or distributor Bob over in Germany, or whoever the distributor is in whichever country. That's where all the product goes to. So a lot of these companies, somebody like a Trumpeter or a Tamiya, yeah, they got their own factory in their own backyard, and they got a massive warehouse, and they're going to have stuff till the cows come home. But even then, they'll sell out. Trumpeter, I've got a lot of emails lately about some of the Trumpeter U.S. aircraft carriers. They're discontinued right now because they've made them, they've sold them all. They'll let the demand build up for months or years or whatever they see, fit. And then maybe they'll do another run. And Tacom does the same kind of thing. They'll do a production run. The Weasel, for example, 35th scale Weasel, they're out right now. We hadn't had them in months. One day they'll probably reissue. They're reissuing. Is it the FT17 Renault?
Yep, the Renault.
The 17. They're reissuing. That was one of their very first 16th scale kits. It hasn't been available for a couple of years. They're finally doing another production run. So a lot of these companies are doing very, very small production runs. So when you see, and that's why we like to do the pre-orders. If you see something that you want, go ahead and put it on pre-order, because it might be available forever, or it might be sold out before they even get here, like the Catalina was. So, in the example of the Catalina, unless you pre-ordered it from us, you didn't get one. You never even had the opportunity to buy it. Obviously, there's other places that sell them too, but Edward themselves sold out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you want something, grab it while you can, because you never know. And I'm not going to tell you that things are going to not be available, because I don't want to be that guy that says, well, if you don't buy it, you'll never get one. But the fact is, that might happen. It might not. It might. So if you know you want it, go ahead and get it. Better safe than sorry. Let's see. Where else are we going tonight?
101 different directions.
Well, here's a fun one. I know you were buying other lines of ship models. Did you look into buying flagship models? I almost don't even want to tell you this, but we did buy flagship models, and we own that. The reason I didn't want to tell you that is we haven't done anything with it yet. We had a very limited re-release of 2 or 3 of the kits, the Monitor and the Merrimack, of course, and I think we did a dozen, maybe 2 dozen of the Choctaw. But the problem with those is and this is a problem with a lot of resin kits, ships mostly for us. I get a lot of people asking, when are you going to re-release this gold medal? Or when are you going to re-release this Iron Shipwrights? Or when are you going to re-release this Yankee Model Works or this flagship models? All these brands that we own now. The problem with all of these companies is the photo etch. The photo etch companies, and there are 3 of them. I think one of them burned down. One of them closed up, one of them stopped doing photo etch for small companies, and they're only doing it for big film companies now.
Yep.
And then, yep, that kind of stuff. And then the main company that we all use, we being resin ship guys, they just up and closed up. One of their owners had a stroke, and they never fully recovered business-wise from that, and they decided to close down. So all of those, all the tooling, all that stuff, it's literally gone. It doesn't exist anymore. So we can't make them if we wanted to. So on the flagship, the reason we only did, a couple dozen of this, a couple of dozen of that is that's the photo etch that we had left over from Rusty White when he passed away. And as soon as we sold out of what he already had, getting more was out of the question. So all of that stuff is in a very long list of things to be redone and converted over to 3D, but that is an extremely long list that's going to take us a long time. So will we ever do it? We like to think so. When? I don't even want to begin to throw dates out there, because all I'll do is disappoint.
And something else to remember in this process too is that one of the things that Brandon and I have mutually agreed on is that neither of us are going to go back to casting resin the old way.
No.
I did that for decades, pressure pots and rubber molds, and it. If I thought that doing 3D work and mixing paint was hard work, the guys that are still out there casting resin, Jose Rodriguez at Custom Dioramics, and he's up here in Milwaukee. Jimmy Flintstone.
Yep.
I mean, these guys they're legends in the hobby, but they're the last of a dying breed.
Yep.
So any kits that we did acquire, we have to then convert them into 3D, which means we either have to re-engineer them in CAD, 3D scan them, clean them up, prep them, and convert them for 3D production. So it is a process. And in a lot of instances, it's easier to just start from scratch and design, just do the whole thing from the ground up.
And since we're talking about Rusty White and flagship, I have a request for you guys. And actually, Jeff, you're probably going to laugh at me if you have every one of them that I've never asked you this. Do y'all remember Rusty White had the how-to mini CDs, the little mini discs?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get those. So when Rusty passed away, his son couldn't find the master files. I would love to have those and include that information. He had some great write-ups and how-tos. I'd love to include those in our monthly digital, ever so often monthly digital catalogs. I've got 1 or 2 of them. You'll see one of them in the next issue of the Squadron. But if any of you guys ever got those, I would love to get a copy of those files from you because that is one thing that I do not have um, from all that flagship stuff.
I know I have one or two. I'll look around.
Okay. Anything would be great. And the other thing that we're going to have put into one of the future squadron things is, do you remember Lauren Perry's book on how to do photo etch?
Yep.
We're going to include that. It's some great information. Um, so a lot of these things that we own now, any of the research that those guys had, we want to make it available to you guys. So it'll be pretty cool. We'll see. All right. Let's see who is going to have the next rabbit for us to chase. And I'm sorry I'm skipping some of these. I'm just looking for.
Well, you do as the host of the show. You jokingly said it in your intro there, your monologue. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that.
Well, the
We
bad
could
thing
just do an
is,
hour and a half of that and just
yeah,
just hit the softballs out of the park and
yeah.
not take the fastballs or the curveballs over the
Well,
plate.
the thing is, I think that we probably both of us want to talk about all of it, but
Mm,
we also don't want to go 3 hours tonight, like we
I'm
keep
I'm
saying.
I'm fading fast here,
Jeff's
boss.
going to go to sleep in a minute, guys. We're going to hear
Yep.
him snoring.
Yeah, no, you don't want to hear that. That's
Oh yeah, I've had a couple people now in the chat tonight ask about this. Revell is reissuing the Great Eastern. Revell Germany is one of the companies that I know Russ has been working on getting. It's just on mine and Jeff's side, or well, specifically the Squadron Products side of things. We have all these ideas and we're trying to get them in line. Russ over on the importing side, he's the same way. I mean, he wants to get everything. It's just a matter of which brand is next. And I know Revell Germany is on his list. When exactly that's going to be, I don't know. But I don't know how soon the Great Eastern's coming out. If it's pretty soon, we may miss out on it because I don't think that we've got Revell Germany lined up to be a part of our catalog this calendar year. I could be wrong. I could be surprised, but that's most likely a 2027 at the earliest addition to our brands. But again, when I know, you guys will know. Couple guys asking when we'll get some restocks on certain paint colors. We had about 20 different paint colors go back in stock about an hour ago, right after this show started, including that thinner we were just talking about. So if you've been waiting on one, perhaps you have already received the waiting list email, or just go check the website. There's still a handful of them that are out that she's working on, but several of them, they were added today. So make sure to check that out. Here's a. I hate to. I hate to turn it. Always Q&A night always ends up being a lot of colors, but there's a good reason for that. Arnell wants to know, Jeff, do we have any World War One armor colors? And I'll expand his question. Do we have any World War One colors that are not aircraft planned to add at some point in the future?
planned, yes, and I'm actually working with a couple of museums to acquire World War One paint mixes
Oh, okay.
to try to get some armor colors squared away. Um, and as soon as I have them ready, I will let you know. But like
Good
everything
deal.
else, there's only 20 hours in the day that I get to work. So,
Well, here's a fun question. So everybody, when we hang out, everybody ends up hearing people's names over and over again. And one of our regulars that you always see on our show and tell is Dave Sanchez. He's got a fun question for us. Did you see over on the group? He says he's joined the dark side. He's going to build
mhm,
a wood ship. So, yeah, excited to see how that works out for you. But his question is, have you ever used our paint on wood, Jeff?
yes. In fact, one of the uh, one of the first large customers that I had in scale colors um, was a group of 1/72nd scale RC warship guys out in California. and they did Taffy 3. They did the entire Taffy 3 task force. They do RC. So 72nd scale escort carrier. That's big.
That is
And
big.
and that was the first one of the first major large sales of scale colors that I had, and I think I was shipping them literally gallons of paint. And
Wow.
they were using it on wooden flight decks and on plank on frame hulls. So yes, it works exceptionally well on wood.
Good deal. Primer first. Any? I hadn't tried it on
Yeah,
wood.
you want to put primer on everything, regardless
Gotcha.
of what paint. That is the number one rule of painting. You really, really, really want to put primer down, no matter what. I don't care if you're using lacquers or Tamiya or Vallejo or AK or Squadron colors or peanut butter and finger paints. You want to put primer down.
Primer is your friend. Okay.
Primer is your friend.
Good deal.
And
Well,
for
we
two
look forward.
reasons. For two reasons. Number one, primer allows the paint something to adhere to. So it increases and it improves your paint strength. And the second thing that it does is when you put that primer down, it allows you to see any mistakes that you might have. Any ghost seams that show up, any scratch marks in the paint from sanding too aggressively with a heavy grit. And the beauty of primer is that you sand it off, you feather it back in, and you can correct those mistakes. You can make those adjustments before you put your finish coat down.
There you go. All right. Good deal. Let's see. Auction off that last Dora, Dave said.
Yeah.
Not a
Oh, here I'm
not
going
a
to jump
horrible
in
idea.
here real quick.
Yeah, please do if you see something
Uh,
to chase.
Mill Creek Fab Shop. Hey, saw it in the recommended videos and thought it would stop in. Hey, welcome aboard.
Awesome.
If you're a scale modeler, we're just two guys talking about scale models. We do this every Wednesday at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time right here on this channel. So subscribe to Squadron Live, give us a thumbs up, and we will hopefully keep you entertained.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And whatever you're fabricating, shoot us an email sometime. Let us know what you're into. We'll check your channel out as well. That's great. Um, Chris Hearn's asking about in tonight's question and answer night. If anybody's joining us late, usually we have kind of a sort of an idea of what we're going to talk about and cover, but tonight it's all about whatever guys are asking about in the chat. So Chris is asking about clear props, F4 kits. That is F4. Excuse me, clear prop. We carry all their stuff, but usually it's a little of this, a little of that. The F4 surprised us, and I think it surprised them too. We have a very small handful of them coming back in, and that's it. They sold them all. Now, I think that they will probably do more, or at least I hope so. But they might be gone for a little while. Going back to that same thing we were talking about a few minutes ago. So um, I don't have very many coming. And I don't know specifically how much of the Marine version versus the Navy version we have coming. But if that's something that you really, really want to grab, please send me an email and let me go ahead and put a back order in for you, so you don't miss out. Because, like I said, I have no idea exactly how many we're going to have coming in, but it's not a whole lot. Um, oh, there you go. Yeah, Revell. That going back to that thing, Brett's talking about the first order from Squadron back in the day was a Revell kit. Revell is one of those brands. It's been around. Everybody knows it. And the confusing thing to some is the fact that there is a Revell in the U.S. and a Revell in Germany. And even though they work very closely together, they are technically two different companies. But depending on which decade we're talking about, they've been the same company. For the longest time, they were both located in Illinois under the same roof, and it's very weird. That's why last week we during the show and tell we referred to one of the kits as being made by Revellagram, because that tooling had been offered by Revell, it had been offered by Monogram, it had been offered by Revell Germany. It's just like, and then you throw Atlantis in the mix. When the two companies split from being both based in the U.S. to going overseas, Atlantis ended up buying a bunch of the tooling they didn't want to take to Germany. So it's really weird, but it's great. And the Revell Germany stuff, like I said, hopefully we'll be getting it at some point. It's some really, really nice kits. Um, hey, look at this. We have made it to the end of the chat list, so now we can talk to you guys in real time. We'll go for another 10 or 15 minutes. So if you guys got any last questions, we are caught up with you.
I
Yeah,
was going
Mill
to
Creek
try to.
says he is a plastic modeler and
I,
metal
w-
modeler
I
also.
was going to yawn and try to do that big stretch, but then I realized that my right shoulder doesn't work. Somebody asked me earlier how my shoulder was doing. I have a torn rotator cuff. So, um, you know, I can do this, but I can't do this, and or I can. It just feels like, someone's trying to tear my arm off. So
Yeah,
it's inevitable. I'm going to have surgery on it, but I'm just being a baby and putting it off. So,
I
um,
got you.
yeah.
Hey, I want to show this since we've caught up to the chat.
Okay.
We don't hardly ever do this, but I wanted to mention, we showed off Dave's build that he's building. There's just a couple, and this is, I'm not leaving anybody out. I'm just grabbing a couple off the top here just to talk about. Uh, but check this out from our Facebook group. Did you see what Richard Hart's
Mm.
building?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
I'm extremely
All
excited
of
about
the
this.
Yeah, that's all of the Hornets gallery work.
Yep, 200 scale. This
Yep.
thing is going to be big. Uh, Very, very cool. Love seeing this, and I'm very
And
excited to see it when it's done.
I'm going to give a plug to our buddy Wayne at Yellow Wings Decals. He's building all three of them at
Oh
once.
gosh!
He's doing Hornet, Enterprise, and Yorktown
All
all at the
right,
same
well,
time.
Wayne, you got to get them done and bring them with you to ModelCon Eagle Quest. I know Richard's trying to finish this up for ModelCon Eagle Quest, and he's going to be bringing his 200 scale Yamato. We're going to have a lot of big stuff on the tables at the show for sure. It's going to be nice. Um, Jim asks, "Am I going to be doing a demo on the 3D parts remover?" Yes, but you're gonna laugh at this one. I don't currently have one. That's why earlier when I showed you this other one that's not ours, I didn't show you ours too. I showed you the box, but there's not one in here. The very last one we had, Arma Hobby. You guys know that they were with us at Nationals. Wojciech from Arma, he loved it. He tried it. He thought it was great, and he really wanted it. So I let him take it home with him, and that was my demo copy. However, we have the main shipment of. I've got another air shipment coming over here, so I can have one because I want to show you guys it on video. I want to get that done before the main shipment gets here, which it actually was supposed to dock at the port yesterday, but I have not heard from it yet. So just like everything else, I'm sure it's going to be late. But we are hopefully within weeks, hopefully 1 or 2 weeks from having those ready to ship to you guys. And if my other one to make a video with shows up when it's supposed to, hopefully we'll have that ready for you next week. But yeah, we're definitely going to show off how to use that. We
I
like
did
it.
I did demos the entire week at Nationals with it.
Yep.
Um, and the
Yeah,
last
your
one,
demo copy, that was the one that
the one
Wojciech
that
took with
yeah,
him.
so I didn't even get to bring one home. So
Oh, gosh.
I can explain you how to use it, but I can't show you because I don't have one.
David Alman is asking about the new Lockheed Hudson. So that kit, they have just released it, and they are, from what I understand, they are preparing our shipment now. And if that be the case, and it ships out and they get it out of Ukraine, getting stuff out of Ukraine is always like as soon as it crosses the border, I'll be able to give you a firm date. But if it goes like usually it goes, getting stuff out of there, we should have it within about give or take 3 weeks, maybe four. So, sometime beginning to middle of September is when we're going to be looking for those. But go ahead and grab it up on pre-order. I don't know how many are coming versus how many we've already got spoken for. I know we have some left that haven't been pre-ordered. It's going to be a nice kit. ICM is very excited about this, and they're hoping that it is well received and that you guys like it. Looking at the renders of it and everything, the pictures they've given us, it looks awesome. I'm excited to see it. Let's see. Lance, did we miss your question? I guess we did, and I apologize. How to document my signed model collection, or is that not in the theme for tonight? Lance, not quite sure exactly what you're asking. Maybe maybe ask it one more time a different way so I want to know what you're talking about, documenting your signed collection. I'd love to see what you have in mind. So, yeah, drop another question down in the comments here so we can see that. And I don't know if Charles is referring to your question, but the Scalemates kit database might be the way to go. You know, you
Yep.
can add your stash there and all that. That may be, uh, if you're talking about trying to make a checklist, so to speak, of your collection, that may be the way to go. Um, I don't know. Yeah, drop it in the comments there. Exactly what you're asking about. Let's see. Chris is asking about: is there going to be a contest in Murfreesboro? Yes, there is. And let me see if I've got it listed here. I do. So on our website, if you go to information and then model conventions, you can see the model shows that I am going to be at. Then down further, you can see some that Jeff usually goes to.
Yep.
But the IPMS Middle Tennessee 2026 Model Con in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, is their show. Is November 14th. As far as their website, you say it's weak. I can't speak on that. I thought it was fine, or at least the information was there. The other place you can always get information on most model shows, especially IPMS shows, is ipmsusa.org. You can go to that website, and there's a list of all the shows, and usually, so you can go pick the IPMS in Murfreesboro, and they usually list the dates, the information about where it's at, and the contact information, so you can get in touch with who's running that show. So it's going to be a good one. We are going to be there this year. We've got a few tables. We're planning on taking some goodies with us and seeing a bunch of you guys there. That is one of our regulars on Wednesday night. Here he is, Bill, talking. He'll be there. That's his club.
Yeah, and he's pressing me to get my shoulder operated on, but
Well,
yeah,
one of these days, right?
yeah, eventually.
Then you can build models faster.
And I can't build models now, but no, they're telling me that the nature of the tear is I'm looking at anywhere from 12 to 14 weeks of it being in a sling and limited use. So
Oh gosh, yeah,
I uh,
that's not
I,
any
I
fun.
I don't have the time for that because somebody's got to run this mouse around the screen and make 3D stuff. So,
There you go.
but I'm going to jump on this because it was a perfect segue. Thanks, Chris. That was perfect. And yeah, perfect. Um, Shows coming up. I am starting in the last weekend of September. I am on the road every single weekend until mid-November at model shows. So I will be at Nordicon in Inver Grove Heights, Minnesota, September 26th. I will be at SamCon in Durand, Illinois on October 3rd. IPMS Duneland in Hobart, Indiana on the 10th of October. October 16 and 17, we have Scale Venture at the EAA Museum in Oshkosh. October 31st, I'm back in Oshkosh for the Winnebago Area Model Classic, the WAM show. And then November 14th, I will be in Chicagoland for DuPage County Fairgrounds for the IPMS Butch O'Hare Region 5 convention. Um, and then of
Dang.
course, yeah, I'm October's going to be a busy one. So if anybody wants to get more information on those shows, obviously you can go to the IPMS USA website, look at their events. They're all listed there. But I will be wandering around. I will not be vending at any of these shows or anything like that. I'm just going to be going as an attendee. So
Wow. Well, um, let me jump before the chats make it disappear. Lance was talking about he just wants to document the stories behind why his models are signed uh, before he finishes his stash in a couple hundred years and goes
yep,
somewhere. Um, so, Lance, give me a call sometime at the shop, and
yep.
I got a couple of cool ideas for you that might be right up your alley. So, um, that'll be great. Uh, and like Keith said from Green Creations, there he's got a couple of ideas too. So you'll probably see a bunch of ideas there. But give me a call at the shop sometime, and I will give you my ideas, and it might be something that would be good. Um, yeah, Jason, he's up the road near the Murfreesboro show too. So he's working on a P38J. That'll be good. Looking forward to seeing that. Um, let's see. The talking about shows in the next few weeks, probably end of September, we're going to start hitting the promotions hard for the ModelCon Eagle Quest show. Some of you guys might have seen in the latest IPMS journal, we're going to start putting ads. excuse me, ads out for that. Glenn Ellis uploaded this to our group. That's the ad for it. And if you go to model-con.com, you can see most of the information. The hotels, we've got 3 host hotels, one of which, the Stay Bridge, is already close to sold out. That makes sense because that's the cheapest of the 3 hotels, and it's right there, just as close as the other 2, closer actually. But again, like I mentioned before, we've got the vendor and exhibitor map, the whole show layout that we'll be showing off here soon. I know Rob Danielson, that you guys see in the chat every week, he is the head judge, and he's got all the information on how the contest is going to work. The rules, the categories, all that will be posted up on the website sometime soon. At some point, I don't know when, but at some point we'll probably have Rob on here one Wednesday night to talk about that, about how our contest will work. In general, there are going to be 3 main parts of our contest. The model contest, that is the standard contest, if you will, and it is a gold, silver, bronze format that most of you are familiar with, and if not, Rob will fill you in on it sometime one Wednesday night. We are also going to have what is called a display-only area. At the IPMS Nationals, you heard us talking about the Tiger Meet a lot. It's the same concept. You come, you don't have to pay to enter your model. You just put your model on the tables for others to enjoy, for you to show off, for you to get tips, give tips, just have a good time. It's just a fun thing. I know the club has a pretty cool name that they're trying to come up with for that.
Why don't we just use Tiger Meat? I mean,
well, that's IPMS Nationals thing. That's
no.
that's
I
their thing. It
invented
is.
Tiger Meat. That's me. Tiger
I
Meat
know
is
that.
me. I'm the guy that came up with that idea and stole the name from NATO.
Well,
So,
and that's good. And
well, you have my dispensation blessing to use it. Let's use
well,
it. Why not?
and well, here's the thing. We already got our own thing. Why use
Uh,
somebody else's thing?
is it
Anyway,
really?
so there's that, and then the other thing is going to be our master class, which is another part of the category, or another part of the contest, that is not judged like a gold, silver, bronze, but it is judged by the modelers. And the way that you enter this category is you have to have won at another show, the best of the best. You could have won best of at the Nationals, or at AMPS, or at Wonderfest, or at Old Eagle Quest, or at Old MasterCon. The idea is we want the masters who have either retired themselves because every time they show up they win and they're giving other people chances, whatever the case may be. At the national IPMS level, for example, once your model wins, it's automatically retired. You can't compete with it anymore. So the idea is we want to see the masters come out and compete with each other. And just like the original MasterCon did, those models will be judged by the modelers. So if you enter the contest, the gold, silver, bronze contest, you will get a ballot and you will be able to pick your favorite master in the master's class. And the winner of the master class is going to receive one of the old Eagle Quest Eagles, the giant eagle, as the grand award for the master class. So we've got a lot of cool stuff that we really hope goes off like we hope that you guys enjoy it. There's going to be a little bit of everything for everybody. The gold, silver, bronze, a lot of people like that. If you like winning, there's still going to be best ofs in each one of the categories. So in addition to the gold, silver, bronze, there's going to be a best of prop aircraft. There's going to be a best jet aircraft. Then there's going to be a best aircraft overall, then a best overall show. So literally there's a little bit of everything for everybody. It's going to be great, and you guys are probably going to get tired of hearing me talk about it because we're going to market it to the moon and back, and you'll see a lot more of that coming up soon. Jeff might even bring a master class model. I'm sure you got a couple of them laying around.
Got a few of them laying around.
It's going to be neat. We're excited, if you can't tell.
Jason, I have been volunteered to do the seminars and coordinate them. So drop me a line, and we will get you into the list and onto the website. Whoops, that was the wrong Jason. That was the wrong. That's the right Jason.
It's the same Jason,
Message.
different comment.
Different comment. So yeah, so drop me a line, and we'll get that sorted out.
Yeah, we've got. That's the other thing. I was talking to Ben today about it. There's a whole lineup of people that are going to be doing some very interesting seminars. And actually, if you look on the ModelCon website now, my favorite part about the website is the countdown clock. I love that. So every day you can bookmark this and go there every day and see exactly how long until ModelCon.
Or you can just stare at the screen and watch it count down 34, 30.
For 218 days, you're just going to.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hey, it's like watching paint dry. I'm good at that.
Yeah. Well, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of this, they have already listed a few of the guys that are going to be doing seminars.
Oh, who's that guy?
Yeah, they should take this one off the list, I think. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It's going to be good. But Dana Bell, that you can't miss that one. Randy Van Dyke, you can guess what he's going to be showing. Yeah. Hey, look at this. John Rosengrant is going to be there.
Famous.
John Rosengrant. If you don't know John Rosengrant, just go Google John Rosengrant, and then you're going to know that you don't want to miss his seminar. Not only is he literally part of Hollywood, he's also an awesome figure and armor modeler. He actually was involved in the original MasterCon. He's a figure sculptor. He's a fantastic guy and a great guy too. He's a good friend now.
Absolutely.
David Doyle introduced me to him. David and him are good buddies. And anyways, it's just really good.
David's a legend in his own right. I mean, that guy can stand up and talk about any military vehicle, right down to nuts and bolts and washers. I've never, everybody bags on me about, how do you retain all this useless information about ship stuff and dates and camouflage schemes. And then I go and I sit with and have lunch with David Doyle and my head explodes because he's like,
yeah,
he's forgotten more stuff than I know.
Yeah. And I don't know how he writes books so fast either. He's like he writes books faster than Danny builds models, believe it or not.
Yeah, I
but it's going to be hey, and we're trying to twist David's arm into talking about something. He can talk about just about anything on the fly. It's like, hey, David, go in that room over there and talk about something, and he'll.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's great. So it's going to
be
a lot of good people to listen to.
Yeah, I've already got a. Jeff talks about useless information with ships. I'm reading this and I'm like, okay. And I guess, so there you go. So we've already got a few other seminars, guest speakers that have lined up. Sergio Barrientos, who is a very high-profile Gundam modeler, he'll be coming down. He's going to do something, so I want to connect you with him, Jason, and you guys can go back and forth. And we've got Rob Riviezzo from the Modeling Insanity podcast, a very prolific armor modeler. He's going to be doing a soldering seminar for you guys that are still messing around with brass, whether it be armor or ships or what have you. Frank Perrone, another prolific armor modeler who lives just up the road. He's about an hour away from Ringgold. He'll be coming down and doing an armor modeling seminar as well. I'll probably be doing something ship related, camouflage related, and we've got a whole bunch of people that are already waiting in the wings.
And a lot of these guys are people that you hear us talking about, but there's going to be some other people that I don't personally know, but they're are big names in the hobby. One of these is, we talk about Jose Rodriguez a lot. One of his good buddies, Craig Brotman.
Yep.
He's part of AK Interactive, huge following with doing scenery, all that kind of stuff. He's going to have a seminar. He does 2 different classes, or he calls them clinics. So it's just going to be a lot of really, really good information that you guys don't want to miss.
Yep.
So it'll be cool. But like I said, you guys will probably get tired of hearing me talk about it, but it's going to be here before we know it, and we're going to have a good time.
218 days. I mean, that's not a whole lot of time to build something, that's going to be earth shattering.
You can do it.
Eh, maybe
Danny's
we'll
going to
see.
do it. Danny's going to
Well,
be there.
Danny's
You
going to have
know,
35 things that are earth shattering.
so
I'm lucky if I get one box opened.
unfortunately, the convention center is pretty strict on their food. Like they like to provide the food. If it weren't for that, we'd have to get Danny to do the catering. Wouldn't that be awesome?
He'll just bring a giant grill into the middle of the model room and smoke and fire extinguishers and fire trucks. It'll be awesome.
Yep, yep. All right.
He
Well,
still
Jeff,
drives me crazy, man. I'll get this random text and there's this big old honking chunk of brisket laying there on all just and it's like 4 a.m. and I'm hungry already because Danny's sending me brisket and ribs and I just finished these and I'm like, I hate you. I
yep.
hate you. Nah, I love you,
Oh,
Danny,
yeah.
but God,
Good
I'd
stuff.
I'd weigh 1,000 pounds if I lived within driving range of you.
Well, Jeff, we didn't go 3 hours.
We
And
didn't.
If we stop now, we won't have even gone 2 hours.
2. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
Been
guess
fun.
we'll
I
call
think
it good. Yeah.
we covered everything.
I hope so. If we missed anybody's question night, I am sorry. It's obviously, I hope you know it's not our intention to leave anybody out on one of these nights, but
I really don't think you did a single "I don't want to talk about it" thing. I think
no, I
you
didn't
kind of
see anything. I
hit on
just didn't
everything.
want to talk about. So if I skipped one, it was not on purpose. So, but again, thank you all for being here. We'll do same place, same time next week. No idea what we'll do, but we'll come up with something. A lot of people are asking me about show and tell for next month because we didn't give a date. I mentioned that I had some things going on next month and I wasn't sure about the dates. Let's do the last day of the month, September 30th. That'll give everybody a couple extra weeks to get something done. But September 30th, which is the last Wednesday and the last day in September, that'll be show and tell for next month. Let's do that. And no special rules. Actually, I take that back. There is one new house rule. It's not a special rule. It's going to be standard show and tell, but new house rule for show and tell because it is getting more and more popular, which we really appreciate. It's awesome, but it's growing. And to be able to accommodate more modelers each week, we're going to change the house rule of 3 submissions per show and tell to 2. So, and it may not be a perfect science the first week as everybody adjusts to this, but if you send me 3 submissions like you're used to doing and I only show 2 of them, you'll understand why. I'll try to reply to emails and explain that as it happens. But we're going to change the house rule of 3 submissions or 3 models per modeler down to 2 with the hope that that will allow us to show off more modelers on show and tell night without
Absolutely.
going 3 hours. So we'll try it like that for a while and see what we can come up with. All right, Jeff.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, buddy.
Well,
I'll talk to you in the morning.
I'm going to bed.
All right.
I love staying up late and I'm excited to jump back into 3D whatever I'm working on, but I can't
Not
keep my
tonight.
eyes open. Now, sometimes
All
the
right.
body just says enough is enough, and off we go. So,
There you go.
thank you, everyone. It was a lot of fun. Look forward to seeing y'all. Hopefully, I'll see you at shows in the upcoming weeks here up in the upper Midwest. And y'all have a great night, a great week, and build what you love what you build.
Talk to you in the morning, Jeff.
See ya.
Guys, thank you so much for being here. We'll be back next Wednesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time. And I sure do appreciate all of you being here tonight. Talk to you soon.